Hi, Data Ben here. Today we're going to cover almost all of the JavaScript array methods. Let's get started. To follow along, you'll need VS Code and you'll want to type these lines as we're going along, and you want to be on the debug window. So if you click the little play icon with the book on the left hand side, and you'll be able to follow along. So I'm going to launch the debugger line by line by pressing the F10 key or function F10 on Mac. And this is going to begin and highlight the first line, and then we're going to step through this code. So first of all, we're going to create the array, and this array is going to be an array of fruits, and we just use the square brackets notation, and then we've entered a list of strings of fruits inside this array. So if we F10 to move on, we're now going to look at the first function, which is length. So if I console.log fruits.length, it should give us a length of the array, which it does. So there are 6 items in the array. The second option is to return the items using the index notation, so the brackets notation. So if we output fruits at index 2, we will output the cherry, and if we output at index 4, we will output the orange. So before I continue, we're going to actually look at the watch window here. So I've added fruits to the watch so we can actually see the changes in the array as we go along here. Next is push. So if we push an item, it simply means adding it to the end of the array. So we're going to add peach to the array, and you'll see here that it's appeared on the end of the array on the left hand side. Next we're going to use pop. So pop removes an item from the end of the array. So it's actually going to remove the peach that we've just added. And if we did pop a few more times, it would remove the banana, then it would remove the orange one by one. But we just want to remove the peach at this time. So the length of the array goes back down to 6. Next we have includes. So we're logging fruits.includes mango. And this is true because we have mango item 2. And then we have fruits.include strawberry, which is false as we don't have that item in the array. So we should get true and false, which we do output into the console below. Next we have shift, which is a little unusual in that it moves all the items in the array one step to the left. So in turn, removing the first item from the array. So if we look at the array here, we have apple as the first item. And what's going to happen is that cherry is going to replace apple, mango is going to replace cherry, orange is going to replace mango, and so on. So they're all going to shift one item to the left. This means apple is going to be shifted off the front of the array and essentially deleted. So if we watch these items shift to the left, there we go, and apple has been removed from the front of the array. Unshift does the opposite of this and actually adds an item to the beginning of the array and shifts all of the other items to the right of the array. So if we do unshift blueberry, we'll see here that it will unshift all the items to the right and it will add blueberry to the beginning of the array. Next we have indexOf. So we can actually get the index of the items in the array. So if I do fruits index of orange, it will actually return the first instance of orange because we have 2 oranges here. So it will return the index item 3. And then we also have the lastIndexOf method. So this will return 4. So let's just check that that's what happens. So yeah, we have 3 and then index 4 for those 2 oranges. So this is a good way to specifically get unique items in the array. So if your array is unique, this is a great way to actually obtain the index of an array item. Next we have splice. So this is to actually remove an item from an array. So what it takes is the index item as the first argument, and then the second argument is the number of items after that item that you want to delete. Now this is usually 1. So in this case, we just want to delete 1 item. But for example, you could set this to more if you wanted to find the item and then say delete the following 3 items from that array, including that item. So in this case, we're going to go to index 2 and delete 1 item. So this should delete mango, which it does. So mango is deleted. And you might actually want to use indexOf, which we've just seen previously, to actually get the index item itself rather than typing it in directly. So you see here we have orange, and this will return to fruits.indexOf, and we just want to remove one orange. So if we run this, we've combined indexOf and splice to delete the first orange in the array. Next is concat, which concatenates one array onto another array. So we want to add some more fruits to our array as it's getting a little bit shorter after we've deleted some. So we're going to create this new array more fruits, and then we're going to concatenate it. So we're going to concatenate fruits.concat, and the one on the left is fruits, and the one on the right that we're going to concatenate it to is more fruits. So if we run this, our array should expand with the 3 new items, which it does. So it essentially pastes the new array onto the old array. Next we have slice, which can copy an array or copy part of an array. So if we simply do fruits.slice into fruits copy variable, we should create a copy of this. So I'm actually going to go over to the watch window here, click plus, and type in fruits copy, and then we can see that we actually have a full copied version of the array called fruits copy. Next, I'm actually going to overwrite this fruits copy again, but this time with a selection of items from the array rather than the full list. So we're going to actually copy the index item 2, 3, and 4. Now we've added 5 here, and you may think that we'd be copying over mango as well, but this is not how slice works. It will only copy to the preceding item. So it'll only do, if you do 2 to 5, it'll do 2, 3, and 4, but not the 5th index number. So let's just check that that's how it works. And let's look at fruits copy again. And yes, we've only got orange, banana, and strawberry, but not mango at index 5. This is an easy one to forget, so do keep in mind that the second argument, the end argument here, is not copied into the new array. Okay, I'm going to remove the watch on fruits copy as we don't need to see it anymore. And we're going to go and look at sort. So sort takes all of the items in an array, converts them to a string, and sorts them into ascending order by default. So if we do fruit sort here, it should actually just sort everything into alphabetical order, which it does. So we've got apple as the first item now, and then strawberry as the last item. Sort is a very powerful method in that you can add callback functions to do a different sort of sort onto it. So by default, it converts all of the array's items into a string and sorts them alphabetically, but you may not want to do this. For example, I might want to sort these in descending order, in which case you can provide your own method or your own callback function to actually complete the type of sort that you want to do. And you really could do any type of sort within this function, and the sort method will accept the argument of this function. So here we have one that sorts into descending order. So we have a function, A and B. So this is going to be the 2 items as it's looping through. So first apple and banana, and then banana and blueberry, and then blueberry and cherry, and then cherry and mango, and so on. And it will loop through each item. And if the first item is greater than the second item, it will actually return it as -1. Otherwise, it will return it as 1. So it will actually sort in the opposite direction. So a normal sort would usually do this, and we're actually changing it to be the other way around so that we're sorting it into descending order. We're also going to reduce this function into an arrow function and ternary operator. So this quite lengthy sort function can actually be reduced to 1 line. So first I'm going to show you how to reduce a standard function into an arrow function, which is a much shorter way to write it. So first we can remove the function, which is assumed. Then we can remove the curly brackets, which we don't need. And then we can actually put the arrow into here. So we have this here. And Now we're going to convert the rest of the code into a ternary operator, which is changing the if-else statement into a one-line if-else statement. So first, you don't need the if, so we're going to remove that and we're going to put that onto the same line. Then again, we don't need these curly brackets, so we're going to remove those. And then we actually don't even need the return operator here, so instead we can actually use the question mark, and then we don't need the else as well. And instead, for else, we can use the colon. And then again, we don't need the return operator on here. And then we can actually close the function as it is now. So what we've done is we've reduced all of this down to the two function arguments and the formula itself. So if A is greater than B, then, which is the question mark, return -1, else, which is the colon, return 1, and then otherwise, if both items are the same, the default is it will return 0. So we don't actually need to say else return 0, as it would return 0 anyway, and those items wouldn't move. So let's see if this works. And yes, that works, and it has reversed the items in the array. An easy way to do this is actually to use an inbuilt method called .reverse. So if we run that, it actually reverses the items for us, which is much simpler to use and is built in, so is generally preferable. The next one is toString. So we can convert the array to actually a string. So let's see how that looks. So if we add a watch here for string fruits, we'll see here it's created a comma delimited string, so which just has all the items in there separated by a comma. Next is a mid-video bonus where you can actually output an array using console.table. So if we do this, and this works in Chrome as well, you'll be able to see the array, but displayed, instead of a list, displayed as the index and all the values in a very well displayed table format, which is really great to look at and really easy to view when you just want to see a few of the items in the array all at once. Now we're going to look at iterable methods. So these are array methods that loop upon all iterms in the array. So they will either conduct a calculation or an output upon each item in the array iterably. So they'll generally use functions to complete these tasks. Let's have a look. The forEach loop will output the items one at a time. So we have forEach, and this is using the arrow function as well with a callback. So we have the fruit, so this is declaring the item that we're looping in. Now this could be actually called anything, but it generally is a good idea to match what the array is called. So I've decided to call this fruit because we're looping over each item in the array, and the items in the array are fruits. So fruit, and the result from the function is a console log with I have a plus the fruit on the end. So it's going to actually output this all at once because it's a one-line arrow function. So if I just run that line, and it's output all of the lines into the console below. Next we have map, which is very similar, apart from it can actually do this loop and conduct the calculations and assign them then to a variable at the end. So it's assigned the result of I have a plus fruit to fruit copy. So let's see if we can add a watch here and open the watch, and we can see, yeah, we have all of the items in this new array fruits copy. Then we have reduce. So reduce is a great way to actually reduce all of the items in an array to a single result. This is generally useful if you want to store this single result in a variable. So in this case, what we're doing is it takes two arguments, which is the running total, or the accumulator, and then the item itself, which in this case, in this array, we've created a numbers array from 1 to 5. So what it will do is it will run line by line and get the running total. So what I'll do is I add 1 to 2 to create 3. it will add 3 to 3 to create 6, it'll add 6 to 4 to create 10, and then it will add 10 to 5 to create 15. So we expect the result to be 15, so as it loops through here. Again, it will conduct this all on one line, as it's a one-line arrow function. And we can see it has output the result 15. So again, just to reiterate, it's the running total, or the accumulator, is the first argument, and then the item that you're accumulating or calculating upon is the second item, and then the function where you actually conduct the calculation. Now this should all result down to one result. If there's more than one result, you will get an undefined error, as it won't be able to reduce the items down to a single item, which is what it's trying to do. Then we have sum, which returns true if any array items match a specific condition, and every, which is almost the same, but it only returns true if every single item matches a condition. So here we have the fruits contain some oranges, so we have the fruit item, and then the method we have here is does the fruit that we're checking as it's iterating through equal an orange, and as soon as it hits one result, the answer will be true. But for every, it will do the same thing, but it will check that every item is orange here, which is going to be false. So let's check if the output is correct there. So we've got true and then false. And again, you can have any code in here to do your comparison check, and but we've kept it simple here. Then we have find, and what we've got here is we're checking each fruit. So we have the fruit as the item again, and then the fruit length. So that's actually the length of we're using the string length here, so the character length is greater than 6. So it's going to actually find the first element in the array which matches this, which should be blueberry, because apple is 6 and banana is 6, and we're asking for greater than 6 characters, and we have the result blueberry because that's the first one that it matched. If you want to match all of the items that are greater than 6 characters, we'd use the filter. So filter is fantastic in that it can return an array of results. So we should actually get blueberry and strawberry here as fruits that have a greater character length than 6, which we do. It's actually output an array rather than a single value there. And that's nearly all of the JavaScript array methods. Come back to this video to review them from time to time.